I think that what's more likely to happen is that after he speaks, he will go and symbolically and formally ask that the Security Council vote on the question of membership status for the state of Palestine and the United Nations. The UN Security Council has to make a recommendation to the UN General Assembly. And so that request will, I think, sit in the Security Council. Whether it actually comes to a vote and when it comes to a vote is something that's going to be decided later on. It'll be decided on procedural matters as to when it can be brought forward, and it'll be decided in terms of numbers. There need to be 9 votes in favour for the resolution actually to come forward. So I think it's going to take days, weeks, maybe months before the issue is actually brought to a vote in the Security Council.
Do you still believe that the President of the United States and the US itself is the only body that can really influence the outcome of a Middle East peace process? And in a sense, going to the UN is somewhat pointless, isn't it?
As a practical matter, Abu Mazen knows that he cannot liberate Palestine except through negotiations of a peace treaty that would lead to the end of the Israeli military occupation of the West Bank. He is a man who is committed to non-violence, to peace. He was the original architect of the Oslo Accords, which is the framework for a two-state solution and peace with Israel. And he has no intentions of taking his people back to violence and terrorism. So resolutions and declarations and recognition in the United Nations can serve to put pressure on Israel.
Do you expect some kind of announcement to come from the quartet? And one wonders what Tony Blair has been doing on the sidelines.
It's a basic tenet of the Arab-Israeli peace process that when the United States pulls back and decides, for whatever reason, usually for domestic political reasons, that it doesn't want to engage, that it opens up the arena for other actors to get involved. And Tony Blair, as the quartet envoy, the quartet being the United States, the EU, the UN and Russia, and Blair is their representative, has now stepped into the breach and has been working with American acquiescence. But he's been working with the EU Foreign Minister, Cathy Ashton, to try to put together a formula for resuming negotiations.
Do you expect to see some kind of official restarting of the negotiating process very soon?
We'll have to see how it plays out in the next few days. But if, as I've suggested, Abu Mazen makes his speech, gets the accolades and plaudits of the international community, seeks from the Secretary General and the Security Council full membership, and then the quartet comes out with a set of principles or terms of reference for the negotiations and calls on the parties to resume the negotiations, Abu Mazen might just say, depending on what's in the quartet statement, might just say, okay, now I'm ready to go back to negotiations.